Previously.
So there you have it, the AVA P80, unboxed and assembled, and it really is quite an easy thing to put together. All I've got to do now is get some water in it, go and wash the car. Hey everyone, welcome back to GM Details. In today's video I'm diving into something I've been really excited to test out, the AVA Evolution P80 pressure washer that claims to outshine the big names in the industry, even offering up to a staggering 20 years warranty. I've been using this machine for a wee while now, and in this video I'll be sharing my honest experience, what I love, what I don't, and how it stacks up against a machine from the world's best selling pressure washer brand, Karcher. So, is the AVA Evolution P80 the new king of the driveway and detailing setups? Let's find out. Full disclosure, AVA of Norway were kind enough to send me out their Evolution P80 pressure washer to try. Just so you know though, this isn't sponsored, there's no script, and AVA haven't had any input. They don't even get to see this before it's uploaded. My opinions are entirely my own, based on real world use, as are all my reviews. So if you're in the market for a new pressure washer, stay tuned, let's get into it. Today's test car is my own BMW. It's pretty grotty and it's in need of some TLC, as it's been several weeks since its last clean. It's got a few bird droppings on the bonnet, some sort of tree sap or something on the passenger side. You can just see the dirt building on the door seam there, but not so much on the outer panels. This was filmed in August, so technically it's supposed to be summer, so less road film. But I do live in Scotland, so all year there's not much difference in dirt levels, except when it's gritting season. You can just see some evidence of road film on the bottom half of the driver's door and front wing, or fender if you're in the US. Standard bug splatter on the front bumper, and yeah, I thought that was a crack on the headlight too. Thankfully, just another deceased insect, and further bug annihilation on the front grille. First things first then, let's clean the wheels. BMW 19-inch M Sport alloys covered in a dusting of brake dust and grime. It's not a pretty sight, so I'm spraying Garage Therapy Zero Decon shampoo on them as a touchless pre-wash chemical, rather than a no chemical rinse, as a chemical will help remove more brake dust and grime than a pressure rinse alone will before you go in with any brushes or any other wash media like a sponge or microfiber wheel mitt. Zero Decon also makes a very good tyre cleaner. As you can see, just the spray alone is lifting off that brake dust. I'm adding another layer of Zero Decon shampoo from an IK foamer now to help the product dwell a little longer before a gentle clean of the tyres with a Detail Factory tyre brush. Of course, you could use your own preferred wheel cleaning product. I rarely use the same product twice, keeps it interesting and enjoyable. These are the two nozzles you get with most, if not all models in the AVA range of pressure washers, from the portable AVA Go to the range-topping AVA Master P80. The one I'm using is the Vario nozzle, similar to what Karcher supply as that Captain Caveman club I showed on the K7 review. The whole Zero Force trigger gun AVA supply is a much better design for car detailing than Karcher or any of the home use pressure washer brands. With its more compact design and the comfort easy pull means there's a lot less hand fatigue than using some triggers, and a quick bayonet fitting which is identical to Karcher except the Vario nozzle but not the turbo one. I'll explain why a little later on in the video. The Vario nozzle has 3 settings on it. This one is 20 degrees, over to the other side is 60 degrees. The other setting is, well, an unusual mix of the 2 nozzles at the same time. I can't quite work out whether this setting is supposed to be reduced power or full pressure, as it seems to make up its own mind what pressure it produces whenever I've selected this mode. But it is very useful for giving wheel brushes a rinsing out before you dunk them back in the bucket of wheel shampoo solution. With this trigger gun being a lot smaller than the Karcher and comes supplied with the Vario nozzle, cleaning wheels and wheel arches with the AVA is a lot easier, more satisfying and actually enjoyable. AVA have clearly thought about what a detailer wants from a trigger gun, and although it's possibly a little bulky for some, its short stubby design makes it very workable when you're down on your knees working on wheels and wheel arches. As you saw from the intro, the car has a moderate layer of dirt on it. Doesn't look as bad on camera as it does in reality, due to the way light reflects off the white paint and what a camera lens sees, but you can see the bug splatter good enough. And I'm going to tackle the grime and bugs with Garage Therapy Citrus at the heavy soiling dilution, as a lot of the grime and bugs will have went through several weeks of heat cycles, and that can be severely damaging to car clear coat. If you want to know more about that, I'm sure Google will give you something to read on it. You get a handy shelf on the top of the AVA P80 where you can mix your chemicals or put your lunch. Just don't confuse the two. How do I manage to spill some of that using a measuring jug with a spout into a wide IK spray bottle? I don't know. Liberally applied all over the sides. All over the bonnet, including those bird droppings. Boot lid and the rear bumper. And not forgetting the front bumper gets the citrus pre-wash treatment via the IK Pro multi-sprayer, with anything left going on the roof. So it's been left to dwell for a few minutes and it seems to be breaking down the bird droppings, but with the bug remains on the front bumper there's less of a visual reaction, possibly due to the protein-based debris, but Garage Therapy Citrus is specifically formulated to dissolve bug remains, so it's all down to the rinse to see if it's worked. On paper, the AVA Evolution P80 pressure washer has a 10 litre per minute flow rate, which is impressive. I'll be testing that a little later in the video with some surprising results, so do stay tuned to see what happens. For now though, I'm keen to see what the combination of Garage Therapy Citrus Pre-Wash and the AVA P80 can do. I switched to the 25-degree nozzle, but I still keep a safe distance away from the paint, and after the rinse, most of the obvious bug skeletal remains were gone, but that left me wondering whether the result came from the product or simply from the pressure and flow rate of the AVA P80. The standard zoom lens connects directly to the zero force gun, giving a well-balanced lens for those who just like that style of pressure wash gun. It certainly cuts down on the single-handed wrist fatigue. I know I go on about fatigue a lot, but just you wait till you're over 50 and then you'll know what I'm talking about. For the odd occasion when you might need an extra bit of reach, the lens can extend from 63cm to just under a metre, and that's got those bird droppings washed away effortlessly. Bearing in mind I'm standing behind a tripod and I'm still able to reach the top of the bonnet. Applying pre-wash, shampoos and even last stage protection chemicals via snow foam lances have become very popular amongst detailing enthusiasts, and with the Evolution P80 large bundle you get a proper foam lance. Not like the 30 centilitre effort you get with some Kärcher bundles, and of course Karcher offer an upgraded lens for an extra £21, which is still rubbish in my opinion, and a slightly less rubbish Connect and Clean lens for £32, but according to reviews, it's not worth spending your money on. The first 3 reviews all mention a plastic clip that breaks off and gets stuck in the Karcher bayonet fitting of the lens, which would ruin your day somewhat. And Karcher's response? Because you were advised to glue a lug in place and didn't buy the foam lens from Karcher.com, they cannot offer a refund. However, they were happy to look into it further for the customer. Great. Now you may be surprised to hear me being negative towards Karcher, who I have wholeheartedly supported on the channel for the last 5 years, but I've never enjoyed using any of the Karcher accessories, including their thermoplastic hoses, and I've made 2 videos on how to improve your Karcher and bin those cheap and nasty accessories they provide. AVA, on the other hand, have the detailer in mind with their pressure washer and included a premium foam lens stroke cannon within this bundle that you can actually use straight out the box. The lens bottle provided with this P80 kit is a 600ml cup, they call it, twice the capacity as the bottle Karcher provides with some kits, which is perfectly usable for one car. But I found when you screw the lid on, because the pickup straw is designed for the 1 litre cups, the straw bends back round on itself and the pickup tube springs up to the top every time, meaning you would only be able to use 200ml at most. Not a major issue if you're only going to be using this one, as you could simply cut the tube to size, but if you're going to be using the 1 litre cups at some point and keep the 600ml one for sealants etc, then you've got a bit of a problem. Personally, I feel AVA should ditch the 600ml cup and provide a 1 litre cup. That's it, that's the only negative I have with the premium foam cannon. There's more comparisons between AVA and Karcher a little later in the video, but first, let's get the foam on. If you haven't already noticed, AVA have thoughtfully designed a hook on the back of the pressure washer for the lance to rest when it's not in use, which is a fantastic idea. The foam lance itself definitely feels premium from the design and in use using the 1 litre bottle, although it doesn't switch from vertical to horizontal like MJJC or MTM lances do. But I don't think I've ever applied snow foam horizontally anyway, so I didn't miss that feature. If you want to know if you can use your own foam lance with the AVA P80 or any of the AVA range, keep watching. I'll cover that a little later in the video. The 1 litre cups I'm using are from a separate kit supplied by AVA and come in 2 different colours, and a clear one. My daughter loves using the pink cup and has claimed that one as hers, when I tend to stick to the clear one as I'm using in this review. It's not just £50 for 3 cups, you get another foam lance and 2 lids which cleverly turn into cup holders, which help prevent them falling over when you fill them up. The lids are an excellent feature as you can mix up your chemicals before maybe going on a mobile job, or you could just even use the dilution dial to adjust the flow rate and store the neat chemicals in the cups. The lance has a dial numbered 1 to 9 which corresponds with the dilution you require, which no one seems to have picked up on a review on YouTube, so well done me for some amazing research. Well okay, so ChatGPT helped a little with some calculations based on what AVA have stated on their website. I could probably make an entire video based on dilutions for the foam lance on its own, as it's a little different to PIR calculations. But as that's hard enough for a lot of you to understand, that's based on a lot of your comments, I'm not going to get into it. So ChatGPT made up a wee chart, which was nice of it, showing an approximate foam lance dilution guide, corresponding with the dial numbers if you want to use the product neat and allow the lance to adjust the dilution for you. As you can see, the dial setting 9 has a 9% draw rate of chemical from the cup, giving you a mix of a commonly used 1 to 10 ratio. I haven't tried this out, by the way. I've been diluting as per normal practice, but if it works, that's an awesome feature that detailing enthusiasts will love. I'll certainly be trying this out and see if it works. If you want to have a copy of the dilution guide, email me and I'll send you a copy for you to keep. Another thing to consider with any pressure washer is it going to deliver on its claims? AVA rates its flow rate for the Evolution P80 at 600 litres per hour, so let's test to see if I'm getting anywhere near that figure and compare it to the Karcher K7. Obviously I'm not going to waste up to 600 litres of water and run the pressure washer for an hour, but I'll run it for a minute and see if I get anywhere near the 10 litres per minute flow rate. So going by a real world test rather than me standing talking to you reading the spec off the instructions, both these machines fall short of their specified maximum flow rate using standard garden hose connectors to a mains outdoor tap. The Karcher K7 achieved 7 litres per minute and the AVA P80 was 8.3 litres per minute, and that gives the Kärcher 420 litres per hour and the AVA 498 litres per hour. The AVA P80 performed closer to its rated spec, delivering 83% of its claim, whilst the Karcher K7 fell shorter at 76% of its claim. But these manufacturers' claims are like MPG figures. Real world conditions always come off lower than lab tests, and I'd imagine the specified bar pressures will be a similar story, but I don't have a way of testing that. So flow rates versus pressure, what's your preference? Let me know in the comments below. In simple terms, more flow means more rinse power and faster coverage, as I demonstrated in the K7 versus K5 video, and it seems that AVA Evolution's P80's 4-piston pump has been able to flow more consistently than the Karcher K7. But both are excellent pressure washers, top of their game, but the AVA has demonstrated real-world conditions better with its stronger water delivery. But will it stay on top as I dive a little deeper into the comparison? AVA are a relatively new brand, becoming popular around 2021, appearing in detailing forums and YouTube videos with channels like Forensic Detailing Channel giving glowing reviews, and John still uses an AVA to this day. But the founders have a lot of experience in the pressure washer market, taking their knowledge of Nilfisk and Kärcher together with customer feedback. They begin to build a pressure washer specifically for car detailing. Take a look at the Evolution range. It starts off with the P60, a rather competent and fully equipped pressure washer for under £400. Still the same case as the P80, but with slightly less power and a smaller hose, but still the same quality. The P70 at just over £400 doesn't seem to offer much more except a more powerful motor, and then up to the P80, giving you a full 10 metres of steel reinforced hose and nearly 500 litres per hour flow rate. All of these come as standard as large bundles. You don't seem to get to opt out of getting the premium foam cannon, which is a shame, as some buyers might be put off thinking you can't use your own foam lance. But you can. The Karcher K7 range only has 2 models. It's exactly the same pressure washer, just a different accessory bundle, and neither of them are aimed at the car cleaning market. The prices vary wildly from £470 to £600. Remember, there's no power difference, so if you were going to choose a Karcher K7, I'd recommend the Power Flex and save the extra £130, because you're going to need it to upgrade things like the hose reel, the foam lance and the trigger gun to make it a more car detailing friendly power washer. And that's why I absolutely love this AVA Evolution P80, because for £100 cheaper than the Karcher K7 Premium, in my opinion, based on the last 5 months of using it, apart from a few niggles getting used to a different pressure washer, the overall experience of using the AVA is better than the Karcher K7. Now, I'm pretty fussy when it comes to pressure washers. Come to think of it, I'm pretty fussy full stop. I really don't like change, unless it's for the better. So when AVA contacted me about sending me this Evolution P80 to try, I didn't jump at the chance straight away. They wanted a completely honest review like I had done with the Karcher K7. No timescales, no script and no pressure. So I've got to thank James and Julie from AVA for their help answering technical questions, and their support has been absolutely brilliant. The first thing that strikes you as you unbox the AVA is the quality of the extendable lance. It's very good quality, and as I mentioned earlier, it can extend almost an extra foot in length to reach high-sided vehicles, for example. Both can accept Kärcher accessories, but the AVA has the advantage of being able to convert to a stubby gun, where the Kärcher splits in the middle, which isn't too much of a problem until you use the AVA, and well, it's just more comfortable to use. The AVA has a zero force trigger, which means it takes very little pressure to keep the trigger pulled, allowing a longer working time and less hand fatigue for the user. Of course, being a stubby gun doesn't mean you can use your own accessories. If you want to use accessories you already own, like a snow foam lance or another brand of stubby gun, making it quick connect adaptable, you only need to buy a £10 Nilfisk adapter for the end of the hose. What this does is this allows you to connect onto the bottom of your stubby gun of your choice. This is the Keptech one that I used in my Kärcher videos, and all you have to do is screw it on. It's an M22 thread. You just have to screw it onto the bottom. Make sure the pressure washer's turned off. take the pressure out of the gun, pull this lever, pull out that hose, connects back to that, no leaks, that's just hand tight as well, and that's you have your own stubby gun with the AVA. Easy as that. The AVA hose reel is always a forward-facing, free-moving piece of genius engineering. For this P80 you get 10 metres of steel reinforced hose. Karcher have upgraded their thermoplastic hose to what is I believe to be a PVC hose, which is a little better than the previous one they supplied, but the AVA still comes supplied with the best one in my opinion. So I demonstrated earlier that both pressure washers fell short of their specified flow rates. That could be due to a number of factors at my end, like the size of the hose reel supplying the water, but in any case the end user will undoubtedly have a garden hose attached to it from the rear of their property round to the driveway, so everyone outside of a perfect test environment will suffer a loss of water flow, and I'd imagine it would be a similar story for the bar pressure. Karcher spec is 180 to AVA's 160, but for car detailing, where we use chemicals to help remove the dirt, it's a good flow rate and less water pressure that makes a good pressure washer for cleaning cars. And this is where the AVA excelled again in providing a decent 498 litres per hour flow rate to Karcher's 420 litres per hour in my test. And it's that higher flow rate coupled with this 60-degree nozzle, you really feel the difference between the two pressure washers. Sorry Karcher, but AVA have my vote on how good it feels to use. Of course, it wouldn't be a balanced review without one or two points of a less positive view. The first point is, well, the AVA has a little bit of a weight problem. Can you say that these days? Well, it's a sturdy machine packed full of aluminium components, including that 4-piston pump. It's bound to be heavy. It's only 3 kilograms heavier than a Karcher K7 at 25.6 kilograms, but manoeuvring it around isn't a problem because of the large wheels, and the lance holder at the top of the pressure washer doubles as a handle to move it around. But remember, as it's got a 10 metre hose supplied, you'll only really need to move the machine twice, once to bring it out the garage and once to put it back in. That leads me to another point. I'm going to go out on a limb here and bet that most of you watching will already be aware of AVA pressure washers. Early top of the range models had one or two issues which I'm happy to say have now been resolved for use in the UK. One of those issues was blowing fuses. Now, I'm no electrician and I'm not going to pretend I know anything about amps, volts and circuits, so I'm going to show you a quick demo of what I initially had an issue with and how it's now been easily resolved. The Karcher video was filmed using this type of extension lead, a domestic 4-gang 13 amp. You can see it states in big bold letters that the cable has to be fully unwound to use the maximum load, 3120 watts up to 240 volts. The Evolution P80 is a 2800 watt pressure washer which can operate between 220 to 240 volts, so well within the tolerance of this extension reel, right? No, it blew a fuse. Not the main fuse, but the plug fuse in the extension reel at the wall socket. I contacted James at AVA who asked me if it was okay to connect to the wall socket, which it was, but that would really restrict its use around the garden for me if I had to always plug it into a wall socket. Still not understanding why, but it had something to do with voltage drop. I started some research and found that it was in fact the problem with the extension reel being just at the upper limit of its capacity, and at 10 metres long the wire might just be too thin to sustain adequate power. This can lead to reduced performance, more heat for the motor and the cable, and breakers to trip more easily, which can cause damage over time. So I had a look on Amazon and I found a 10 metre single extension, 1.5mm square, and has been absolutely perfect. So it's worth checking your own setup just to see if cables are getting hot or your pressure washer is underperforming. It could be an electrical issue. Next test was to see how many amps this thing was using on startup and under load, just to give me peace of mind. This power meter monitors the energy flow at the socket, just to see if it's drawing any more amps than it's supposed to with the new extension lead. I'm allowing the water to flow freely without power first, and as you can see, it's also drawing zero power. There's no nozzle attached, so when I do power on the pressure washer, it won't have any resistance, so I'm expecting some low power usage. And as you can see, it's drawing just over 3.6 amps and using 0.95 power factor at the bottom of the meter. And that means it's working perfectly and drawing power with minimum power wastage. Connect the vario nozzle to create some back pressure and the amps rise to just over 10 amps, with the power factor showing 1, showing the motor and controller are drawing power cleanly. The supply, the cable, socket, voltage, etc. is good with low distortion and minimum voltage drop. That's just what I want to hear. Hopefully no more blown fuses, and I'm pleased to report in the last few months of using it, it's only ever happened that first time plugging it in to that wrong type of extension lead. We're nearly at the end of the video now, and if you've made it this far, thank you for your amazing support. You've been watching a bit of a video diary or vlog of my experience of using the AVA Evolution P80 pressure washer. None of it is scripted, and AVA wanted a genuine, honest review, and I think I've given a complete balanced review in the few months of ownership. Obviously, I can't vouch for long-term use yet, but if I'm still uploading videos in the future, I can still give some feedback on how the machine is doing over time. If you're thinking of treating yourself to one, then have a look at the links in the video description. These are affiliate links and help the channel get a little commission from sales, but don't add any cost to your purchase. And that money goes towards making new content for you to hopefully enjoy. So with the car having been contact cleaned with a demineralising shampoo, there's just one last product to apply to the car, and it's from AVA's range of car cleaning chemicals. No, I didn't know they sold them either, so they sent me the last stage land supplied sealant. It's much the same as many other brands' water-based spray sealants in that it's sold in a concentrated form, diluted in the foam cannon, then further diluted as it's sprayed over the car. I'll put the dilutions on screen for your information. It's a great last stage product to be used in any season, but I think it's best in winter, as often a wax or spray sealant is harder to remove in winter due to the moisture in the air. This product bonds to anything it touches, particularly glass, giving you up to 4 weeks of gloss and a hydrophobic effect to the whole of your car. It's advised not to spray directly onto your windscreen as you might get some smearing. Rinsing off was easy and I didn't see any streaks or product residue left behind. All there's left to do now is to dry the car and admire my afternoon's work. One last thing, I haven't used the turbo nozzle as you can only use that at the end of the long extension lance. It's cleverly designed to only fit that part so you don't injure yourself doing silly things like cleaning wheel arches with your face being close to the spray, resulting in some nasty spray back and a visit to the hospital to get your eyes rinsed out. So thank you to AVA for thinking of all the stupid things we do with pressure washers and trying to keep us all safe. Take care everyone. See you in the next video. Cheery bye. So that was the unboxing and assembly of the AVA P80 Evolution, the large setup with the snow foam cannon with it. And what an awesome piece of kit. It's well built. Certainly they have thought of everything from the reel to the holder, and there will be a review coming towards the end of the year on the AVA P80 Evolution. So if you want to see that, please subscribe. So there we have it. It's Take care. Cheery bye.